Y'all are so fake, oh no. The forecast said that there'd be snowflakes. Whoa, you can make us see it your way. No way, gasoline and propane, more flames. Oh no, no more snowflakes.
We can all get along, but there's no stopping. Ay, everybody's wrong, that's the real problem. Ay, they don't want to hear it, but they still talking. Ay, soon enough, we running out of options. Ay, this ain't gonna end till it's in the coffin. Ay, we ain't gonna be friends till we try to squash it. Ay, I don't know how we can make amends or we drop it. Snowflakes melt when it's hot, kid.
Y'all are so fake, oh no. The forecast said that there'd be snowflakes. Whoa, you can make us see it your way. No way, gasoline and propane, more flames. Oh no, no more snowflakes.
This is Amária with HeartMind Expressions and the Fab Four. Tonight we've got AlexSpielman and McClure.
Hey everyone.
Hey guys. So real
How
quick,
y'all
just
doing?
we're doing pretty
Yeah.
dang good for all the weird stuff that's going on this planet. We're really definitely grateful for
Yeah, so we had our plugs that we want to put in, so go for it, Amária.
All right, so thanks so much to Rev Radio Las Vegas and C4OC Radio Networks. You guys are awesome. Keep rocking and rolling out there, guys. Any questions or suggestions, feel free to pass those forward. And we love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. All right, guys. So we want to talk about some psychology things here. I guess there's a lot of
Yeah, so we have some political and geopolitical. I thought maybe we should plow through first.
I think
Alex?
there's definitely some perspectives we
Yeah.
could definitely look at. Let's go for it.
Yeah, hey Alex, you're up. Uh-oh.
Alex, you're still muted, hun. There we go.
There you go. That helps.
Yeah, it helps that I don't have my microphone muted, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, you can yell really loud, but the only thing one is going to hear you is NASA after that.
You know what they say, nothing can, you can't hear anything in the depths of space except for the battle cry of a U.S. Marine. And anyways, what was it? What did you want to start with, Sue?
So, well, you and I were discussing about what's just going on in the world. Do you want to talk about the hurricane? Did you want to talk about the pipeline? What's going on with that? And I forgot what the third thing was. What were we going to talk about? Biden?
I don't remember what the third thing is, but the first thing, let's talk about. First of all, I wanted to reach out to all those in the all those fellow Floridians down there. That
Yeah, hearts go out to you.
Yeah,
Our hearts
everything
do
that's
definitely
going
go out.
on. Hope you guys are safe. Hope you guys are able to get the necessary aid that you may require, whether it's water, shelter, power, whatever that may be.
All the supplies. Yeah.
You know, first and foremost, safety is our primary concern.
Yeah. Sending our
Absolutely.
love and everything and prayers to you guys out in
Yes.
Florida.
But moving on from there, yeah, apparently it was a pretty nasty storm that happened
That's what
over
it
there.
sounds like.
Yeah, apparently it was like one of the top 5 worst storms that hit the southern parts of Florida. It bordered on a Cat 5, but it was not a Cat 5.
Jeez. Definitely not something I'd like to walk outside to right now.
Meanwhile, there were people that were
Yeah, well,
outside, like,
CNN was actually doing a story on that, and it was really funny. They were acting like the wind was blowing like hell, and you know, the cameras were shaking and all that, and then you see a dude walking behind him peacefully, getting to his car.
you know, what's funny is that you could tell the residents from the the residents from the visitors,
Yeah.
and that's no different than what happens in Florida, whether it's the regular day or it's a nice sunny.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And I thought that was really interesting. Yeah, the propaganda though, we think there's a little bit of propaganda going on because they were trying to make it sound like it was very apocalyptic type of a storm. They were making it sound 10 times worse than it really was. It was bad,
Well,
absolutely. Don't get me wrong, it was bad. It was knocking power out. The streets are flooded. A lot of venues and places are just literally outshot.
Well,
And
you
but
know,
but
Harp's
you know
getting
all
real
the
good at playing their little games, so they gotta up the fear porn. Oh my God, guys, hold on, let's go press the button. Oh,
yeah.
this is good. This is
But
good.
you
This
know,
is
I
gonna be
mean,
scary.
I mean, DeSantis is actually doing a good job trying to put a lid on things and stuff like that. It's just that trying to get a handle on it, make sure that food, water, and supplies being sent out and all that. But here's the thing: the news is not really talking too much about it. And didn't they just send another what 7 something 10 billion or whatever to Ukraine again? But we have this disaster here
Yeah,
going on
12
in
billion.
Florida, and they're not.
it's
Yeah,
really
12 billion. That's
frustrating.
right. They're sending 12 billion more to Ukraine, and they're not. Well, we have a disaster here. Where's our money? You know, kind of thing.
Right.
What about
There's plenty
Florida?
of people that definitely could use
And
something,
Florida could
clean
use that.
water,
Florida
clean
could use that
food.
12 billion right now. You know.
Right.
So that
Exactly.
shows right there the agenda. They don't care about us. If they really did, you know, they would be handling the Florida thing. They're not even talking much about the whole Florida disaster at all. There's a little blip of news about it, other than the weather channels and the people who do the weather will talk about it. But you know, like I said, they made it sound very apocalyptic. And it's bad, but it's not, you know, that bad.
Right.
Yeah.
We gotta love the news. They like to stir the pot.
Yeah, there's it feels agenda-y because the way the storm was hitting back and forth, it just felt like a
Right.
kind of a remote control deal done. It didn't
Well,
feel
it seems
natural the way
like
it was dancing.
how much is all agenda-y? I mean, there's stuff coming out from 17 again. It's like, okay, what do we really know is the truth? What's false flags? What's
Yeah.
What came out
like,
with what came out
right.
from 17?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to even remember where I saw it now.
Because I haven't seen anything on the official forums.
It wasn't an official forum. It was kind of a passerby thing on Facebook. It was basically something about the 24 September 24th or whatever. And I'm just like, well, really nothing happened, I don't think, unless it's something that we didn't see within the ranks. I mean, who knows? I just kind of stopped holding my breath on it. I mean, I feel like we're still going to have the release of those technologies and getting the medical clinics and everything so that people can do the regen tank med beds, holographic med beds, you know, whichever ones they're bringing down. I'm thinking they're probably going to have it
Some
soon.
of the stuff actually really does exist
Oh yeah,
already.
absolutely.
You know, it's just
It
that
just
you have to have the
hasn't
money
been
for it.
open
We
for the
have
public.
Well, you have to have the money for it. They are selling something that's similar to a med bed, and you hook it up to an iPad and all that. And there's this pad thing that you put on your bed and all that. And I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it's supposed to do something about harmonics and vibration to fix whatever ails you. There's another version of it that Dr. Alex Bloom has bought as well. Next time you have him on the show, he'll explain about it. But it's probably the closest thing that he has to a med bed right now, and it has to do with vibration harmonics. It's a big pad that you put on a bed, and I don't know, some hookups and some button pushing, and it's supposed to do some sort of resonant vibration thing, whatever, and it fixes up what ails you. It actually takes your cells in order to loosen things up, and it helps your. I know it's supposed to help your flow, your blood flow, your chi and everything, because everything gets stuck, and that's the reason why we have different types of aging issues and stuff like that. Is because we don't have free flow in our system. It's a lot. We have a lot stuck in a lot of places.
I find the holographic med bed's fascinating. Just
Yeah.
basically the body's scanned all the way to the cellular structure. I mean, down to
Yeah.
your DNA, and it figures, okay, what is faulty? What do we need to fix? And then what it does is it makes a hologram, a perfect replica of your body. And like, say you're 80 years old, it's going to make you like you're about 25 again, because your body, all the cell structures are going to line up to where they're supposed to be. The body's going to be vibrating at the frequency of optimum health. And of course, all of the organs will be functioning right. If you've had an amputation, or for instance, like I've had a full hysterectomy and bilateral oophorectomy, which both of my ovaries were removed as well. And then they took the cervix. Basically, the body would scan that and say, oh, this part of the body's disrupted and missing. And so it's going to correct that flaw. And at the time that the patient is under within this med bed, the holographic med bed, the body will actually be regrowing those body parts, because it's realizing in that energetic field that those things are missing. So it's fascinating that the quantum field has been able to be tapped into that level, and it's at our fingertips now. So I'm like so excited. Like, when is it going to come out? It's really cool.
Yeah, that's gonna take a little time right now. They're exposing what's going on with the bad guys' agenda, and they have to wake everybody up, and we have to, you know, I was told that the med beds are gonna start rolling out in January. I don't know how true that is or not, but we'll just keep an eye on the situation, see what happens. Mm.
Breaking news while we are live.
Ah, cool.
I
Go for it.
I just sent down a message to Bloom,
Yeah.
and doing well. And I have, just because I wanted to check up on him, but
Nice.
him and his fiance are doing well.
That's good.
They're
That's
just
good.
kind of they're in touch and go situation, obviously, with the current climate that's down there, but they're both physically unscathed.
Yeah.
That's good. Good to hear.
Yeah, they got a chance to get out of there, but in time.
Yeah.
They're in Orlando right now, which is, the storm did happen there, but it was not as bad. Sarasota ended up being one of the hot spots, which is where they originally lived. So, um, that's all messed up right now. We don't know how messed up with the extent of it. So, they're just waiting for the water to recede and don't work their way back up there. Maybe as far as until Monday, they don't know. We're just gonna have to play it by ear.
Yep. Just hope for the best.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. Is he done playing his little game, or is he still spinning around? I didn't get a chance to look today.
I couldn't tell you at this moment. I didn't get that
Yeah,
far.
yeah, I didn't either.
Um,
So
but moving on from Florida, you wanted to talk about Nord Stream, by the way.
yeah, yeah. So what do you got on that?
Now, Nord Stream is a very interesting subject. Um, little back history for people who may not be familiar with this. The Nord Stream pipelines, and there are two. There's one, it's called Nord 1 and Nord 2. They are gas pipelines that are connected from Germany to Russia. And over last week, or earlier this week, there was an explosion of pretty sizable size that destroyed the pipeline, or at least has severed the connection from the pipeline for it's not a complete circuit. We have the Polish president saying that this was an act of sabotage, and that's pretty big when you have a national power saying that there was a form of sabotage right there. But there are only 4 people or 4 countries that, or maybe 5, 4 or 5 countries that may or may not have been contributing to this. The first is Russia, but I'm going to disregard Russia in this because why in the world would they destroy their own infrastructure? That just makes no sense in my mind
Yeah, I
or
agree.
anybody else's mind. Why in the world would you sever the main source of leverage that you had? I mean, if they wanted to, they could always turn it off, which they
Exactly.
had earlier. So I wouldn't consider them. The next one was China. Well, China is allied with Russia, so why would they harm their ally? And that just also just makes no sense. Another one is Germany. Well, why would it be Germany? Because they rely on that power, so they wouldn't be able to. They wouldn't do that. Even if they're like, "Ha, we're making a point," they wouldn't do that. That's a lifeline for them.
Yeah.
Another one is possibly the United Kingdom, because all of a sudden England or Britain has been supplying Europe a lot of power due to their current energy shortages. But why would they destroy that power source if it means that they would have to provide more than they already have? So, number 5 was Ukraine. Well, I can understand why Ukraine would do it, but they wouldn't want to harm Germany. That would just hurt their alliance with them. Now, there is a 6th one. That 6th one is the United States. Now, the United States has been providing a good chunk of European power as of the shutting off of Nord Stream earlier. And I don't think it was the United States as we understand it. I believe it was the United States in the aspect of um the the
I
elite,
think it's,
the
I
deep
think the
state group.
swamp. I think the
I,
swamp is
the
involved.
deep state swamp
Yeah.
organization, and they were trying to do that so that they could kill 2 birds. They would harm Russia when it came to their diplomatic relations with other countries, but at the same time, they're going to harm Germany in that they are going to be down to their knees when it comes to the weather being colder. So why not kill 2 birds with one stone in that aspect? So right now, I think it was another one of these bogus banners, if you will,
Yeah.
these these misdirected operations,
Yeah.
or other names that you can put these as, intentionally to cause extra attention when there shouldn't have been in the first place. So that's what we're looking at with that, because Nord Stream, as much as you want to talk about the diplomatic relations between all these countries and what they do and what they are, and yada, 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 at the end of the day, people are going to freeze, right? I don't care what you want to talk about politically. People are going to freeze. They are not going to have the oil and the power to heat their houses, to fuel their cars, or to power their electronics if they do not have that energy.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this as a purely humanitarian situation and nothing more.
No, it makes
So,
me wonder if this is all heading up into that reset, like that we've been talking about for the past, what, since 2017-ish,
the Great Reset.
when the Jazara, the Nasara, like all the humanitarian projects, all of those things. I'm wondering if this is basically that tripwire or whatever that's propelling us into that.
I wouldn't think so, in this, at least in this, because I wouldn't think that there would be any reason to inadvertently harm individuals that wouldn't have had this happen to them if this wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
If there was going to be something, it would have been done um, in a much more less life-threatening way, because this is going to cause some issues, not just in Germany, but France, Switzerland, Italy, Spain, and the rest of Europe, because they all require this pipeline.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening. Why now? So obviously, there's an agenda attached to it.
Right.
Well, and I think the attached to the is what's happening currently in the Ukraine at this moment.
Yeah.
Because in the Ukraine, or what is now formerly in the Ukraine, because of today, this did major referendum decisions. So the referendum they made would made the Donbass region and several other key locations that are culturally Russian. They had referendum elections. A referendum vote. And today,
Wow.
the
Yeah.
Russian president just signed into law stating that they currently recognize them as independent republics that are connected to the Russian Federation. So they are no longer in the Russian eyes part of the Ukraine. Now, this is going to cause some issues because the West is going to say, oh, wow, you just did that. You rigged an election. Even though these locations for the past 100 years, and I'm not even including the Soviet Union when it comes to that, but that's like the last 100 years. But still, before that, they were during the time of the Russian Empire, like Tsar Nicholas, and even before him, they were culturally, religiously, and economically Russian, as we understand them to see. That's
You're cutting off a lot,
understand
Alex.
that.
Yeah, you might want to back off where you said
East
culturally and
Europe
religiously.
was in Eastern Europe,
You're breaking up.
the Soviet Union. Lot is completely different.
Yeah, you're really garbled.
We're so used
Alex.
to
Alex,
like
you're garbled. You're
really
breaking
garbled
up.
in and out.
Yeah, we didn't. The last thing that you said was no, I don't know number now. You're gonna have to go back a paragraph, literally. Uh-oh. So yeah, while we're waiting for Alex to refire up everything. So yeah, here we go.
I'm hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you. We don't know how long that'll last.
Wow,
But you are going.
that
It's
was
very
interesting.
garbled. It was
I've
very
never had
garbled and very
I
back and forth.
I had never had it that way before.
I guess we got interesting again. People are wanting to block us and kick us off.
All I was
2
saying is the
weeks in a
map has
row.
changed. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You'll have fun doing a replay later of the show and listen to how it sounded.
All I was saying was that the map has changed significantly depending on which period of time 100 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all I was saying. If that was interesting or contradictory, I don't know why it would be. It probably just goes against the Pravda, the Veritas.
Wait until we talk about how many continents there really are on this planet. That would definitely do it. I'll give you a hint, everyone. It's not 7.
How many
Way
oceans
more.
are there?
Oh, there's plenty of things, I'm sure.
Hey, Sue, how many oceans are there?
What?
How many oceans are there?
Oh, God.
The answer is less than 2.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? The real answer is more than 2.
It's less than 2 because oceans are all contiguously
Well, yeah,
connected.
it's actually Well, when they talk about oceans and seas and all that, I think they just literally put this into separation. Really,
it's nothing more than a political divide when you think about it.
So,
I mean, yes, the water may change color or salinity or things like that, but besides that, they really don't do much.
Yeah.
It helps us identify where it is that we're looking
It-
at.
Well, I mean, you don't want the water on our planet to get all going. Oh, well, I identify as a sea.
I
I,
identify as
I,
a mountain today.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
identify. I,
I'm just gonna be all washed up today.
I
Hold on,
identify
I'm
as
the
my. I identify my color as being aquamarine versus navy blue.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, they have all these international water calls and stuff. So yeah, the Sea of Japan, I identify as,
Oh, you know what the funny thing is about that is that when you mentioned the Sea of Japan, depending on where you are and where this map is made, it's not called the Sea of Japan.
Yeah. Oh, really?
There are certain seas or oceans or gulfs or lakes, and depending on who has made the map will determine what that is actually called. Because there are,
Wow.
like if you're in South Korea,
Yeah.
the Sea of Japan is actually called the Sea of Korea.
Wow.
Oh, funny.
Okay. Well, I identify as Sea of Korea.
There you go.
I don't know an individual could identify as a body of water.
Hello. Hello. Body,
Deep,
water.
though,
But then
you just
again,
know
Yeah.
it.
Hello. I'm a body. I'm filled with water. What the heck more do you want?
I want you to be able to support naval vessels.
I have. Haven't you ever heard the game Battleship?
What? So what are you
You're
going to do?
sunk
Just
by battleship.
so what are you going to do? You're going to make Jello molds of the toy of the pieces, and you're just going to eat them and say, "Look, you sunk my battleship. It's in my battle." Okay.
You sunk it and you swallowed it. Anyway.
No comment.
Oh, we gotta have fun. You gotta have fun with it.
What? Oh my god. So so what is that? So let me kind of get this straight though. So exactly, I'm trying to understand what was going on with Ukraine. I mean, are they trying to put things right, as in put things together, or are they trying to do more division?
Was that?
What's going on in Ukraine? Are they actually trying to put more division together? Or trying to put? I mean, I'm kind of trying to understand, because it sounds like they're trying to put something together, but it sounds divided at the same time, and that's what I was trying to understand.
So Ukraine today just filed with the European Union to become a member state.
Okay, well, he's been wanting to be part of the EU, so.
Well, they've been trying to become the EU for a while, but then
Yeah.
again, the European Union for the longest time has said, no,
Yeah.
we do not want to get involved. We can saber rattle, but we don't want to actually get involved and actually get our hands dirty,
Yeah.
because that would actually mean them doing work.
Oh, isn't
But
that the way it always is?
But what does the European Union do but say, you got to follow our rules? That's why Britain left.
Makes you wonder why.
Well, it's because they were saying you had to follow our rules, and you couldn't follow your own national decisions.
That doesn't sound like a comfortable club to be in my opinion.
Well, it even tells you how exactly you conduct trade, how you deal with currency, how you deal with commerce, how you deal with fishing, farming, waste management, energy production.
Sounds like crap to me.
It sounds like a one world government.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can't imagine why you would sign up to that. I'm sure there was a very big fat sign-on bonus.
No, it's a sign-on bonus is we're going to give you the euro.
Yeah.
But there were times where I wish, hey, what about the French franc, or the German mark, or the Swiss still use the franc, the Greek dinar, or drachma.
Well, I mean, that's why I noticed that the swamp is going around speaking bad about anyone that will not shake hands with them and kiss them behind. Russia is definitely one of them. I mean, they got rid of them. Monsanto is not allowed to be there. They basically gave the private Central West Bank a middle finger. I mean, whatever it is they're doing, they're energy independent on top of that. So everything that they're doing is against what the swamp wants you to do. And so that's why they have been speaking bad about Putin, Russia altogether. So one of the things, in my opinion, that when you take a step back and take a look at why they're speaking so bad about someone, is it really because of what they're saying, or is it because they have an agenda attached to it and they want you to not listen to them and totally back off from them, and listen to what the swamp wants you to hear? So it's
So,
something to look into.
so answer is yes. Just 3 words, 3 letters. Yes. By the way, I didn't actually translate that properly when it came to the Sea of Japan. In Korean, the Sea of Japan is called the Eastern Sea, or East Sea.
Okay.
In North Korea, it's called the East Sea of Korea.
Yeah.
So it's the first thing that the North and South of Korea actually agree upon, is that they both think it's East. So,
Okay. Good to know.
hey, maybe we'll see unification of Korea after, since they are starting to agree each other linguistically. I mean, all you need to do is have a common language, and then unification is assured, right? Nothing can go wrong.
Everybody's heard.
Yeah.
Now, if only we can have both of these countries share their love for basketball. I actually mean that in the most wholeheartedly genuine way when I say that. You know why, right, Amária?
Why is that?
Chairman Kim's favorite sport is basketball.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
And that's why Dennis Rodman had visited there many times in the past.
Oh, nice.
Because he loved basketball. So I'm like, hey, why don't we have a Korean basketball league between both of them? Heck, let's include Japan and China, and who knows who else wants to join, because it seems that sports have been able to pass through those political barriers.
Yeah, it definitely has some form of unification, that's for sure.
I mean, think about it. The last Winter Olympics, which was in Pyeongchang, which is South Korea, North and South Korea actually participated as one country.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Which is the first time they've done that in over 60 years.
Wow.
That just shows you how significant that was. Now, I would love to see that happening more often.
Right.
Let's give peace a chance, shall we?
Yeah, I would love that. But the swamp doesn't like peace. They like war. There's no profit in peace.
Well, you know what? We're gonna give them a big old timeout. Put them in the corner. Have somebody with their arms around their shoulder, crossing their arms, maybe their hands on their hips, wagging their fingers, and saying, "I'm very disappointed in you. You could do better." Because we all know when your parent says that, it makes you feel worse than when they say they're angry at you.
Definitely.
Sorry. A little much.
Well, we are going to do what we can, though. I mean, we're hoping that Trump and the Patriots, they're definitely going around getting the swamp cleaned up and getting it drained. It's very deep and very wide. So now they're trying to show all of us what the swamp is doing. So there's going to be constant agendas going on from here on out, and there's possible communication blackout. They're constantly also drumming for war. So everybody just kind of be prepared, food, water, shelter, be ready for anything. Be ready for the cold of winter too, if you're living in an area that's prone to cold during this time of the year. Now, one of the tips that we were actually given is that, that you can actually put a tent on your bed, and actually it will make it easier for you to stay warm at night. You can also hang out there if you need to.
Well, and one of the big things I learned just living in a colder states, I've slept in my car like super cold, like down to -8.
Wow.
But like I learned that layers is important.
Yeah.
If you have to have your clothing, excuse me, your clothing with you in your bed or whatever you're going to be sleeping in, but cover your head because you need
Yeah.
to keep that warm. Then put, gloves on, a scarf on, tie your hair up if it's longer, and cover your head. It's a big thing. And
Yeah.
drinking a lot of liquid, like, if you can boil your water, if it's not sanitary, it just stinks that a lot of this stuff's been going on to people. My heart goes out to people that are in areas that are having bad hurricanes or outages from these pipelines being taken out.
Well, yeah, actually the biggest problem that's going on there is just that they have been lied to so much about the weather. The weather people go, oh my God, there's this big hurricane coming. Brace yourselves, and then it ends up not being such a big deal. And when you basically have the boy who cried wolf story happen over and over and over and over again, and then when a big one does come in, and because Dr. Alex Bloom was talking about how a lot of people had this stubbornness and said, no, I'll stay, I'm good, I'll stay behind, I'm going to stay home. It's not going to be that big a deal. And then they're learning very quickly, oh, it's big. And they're trapped in their homes. And they're scrambling, trying to leave, and they can't. They're trapped. So we have a lot of that situation. And a lot of people ended up dying because of their stubbornness. They would not relocate somewhere else. And they just believed that it wasn't going to be as big a deal because they're used to the weatherman saying it's a huge deal and then finding out it's not. But this time, this one ended up being a really big deal, and a lot of people lost their lives for it.
This is one of those things I was thinking about, right? The fact that we need to redo the category system when it comes to hurricanes. Because if you think about it, the whole thing about hurricanes is that it deals with wind speed. And the thing is, you don't need to worry about wind speed. What you need what you need to really worry about is atmospheric pressure and storm surge.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you
Well,
have,
and Sue asked a really good question on pipes freezing.
yeah,
I lived in a house that, the downstairs had the worst sink. It would freeze like the first winter we were there, and we had to fix it. And
Yeah, how
what
did you
I
deal with
figured
a pipe
out,
burst? Yeah.
what we had to do is we had to just keep the water just dripping so that it was just like this constant slow drip. And then I wrapped the pipes that were next to the wall that was getting too cold. We would wrap those in towels in the wintertime, and then I would leave the cupboard opened so that it was getting the warmer air from the inside of the house. And so that's how we did that. It was a little colder in that basement, but boy, that wall, we had this cement wall on, what was it? The east side of that house. No, actually, that was the south side. Excuse me. But that one was really cold.
Well, how do you, I mean, I guess so we can, you can, yeah, wrap it up with towel. They also got, you can use, some
Like
sort
a
of
pool
insulation. Yeah,
noodle
pool
or
noodle. I was thinking of that, and
right,
insulation, and they have this
insulation and things.
insulation stuff. It almost feels like the stuff that's the inside part of your fluffy puffy style type jackets,
Right.
Um,
Well, if you're in a bind, I'd
but
say use some old
you
towels
know,
or something or
yeah, definitely that,
whatever
because
you
I mean,
can.
but what do you do when there's absolutely no heat? There's not even hot water to trickle. Do you know what I'm saying?
Even if you've got even a candle, like keeping a
Okay.
candle lit, there's keeping it close to each other. Um, you just want to keep as many layers on as you can and stay hydrated. As
Okay.
much, you got to stay hydrated.
I'm talking about the pipes, Amaria. If they shut down all forms of heat,
Oh, the pipes.
yeah, if they shut down all forms of heat, so you can't have the water trickling, you turn the hot water on as slow as you possibly can to have it trickle,
Mm.
hot water just to keep the pipes warm. But if you don't have hot water, what's the next step?
I'm just hoping it doesn't get that cold.
Yeah.
Because if there's really, I mean, I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just
because I know you had more
Ooh, that's
experience
okay.
with it. We've been fortunate here in St. Louis. We haven't had any, major outages, but
I
it's
never
good that we all
lost my
have.
power more than 3
Yeah,
days.
yeah. Well, knock on wood. Let's hope it doesn't last very long, whatever they're going to do. I know they're going to do a
Right.
blackout, but we don't know how bad it's going to be. If they're going to shut anything down. But know this, it's just that all the agenda that they're putting in there, um, this is not because of climate change. I can tell you that right now. There's nothing to do with climate change. Climate is the weather in the world and Earth. She's gonna do whatever she wants to do. And throughout history, she warms up, she cools down. She warms up, she cools down. She has her cycles. So it's not so much as to what we're doing.
You know,
We're not contributing it so effectively that that we have to change our ways overnight and make her all better and anything. This is something that they've been playing with for years, decades even. And they've been saying, this is the world's gonna end, and it doesn't end. They said, if we don't do this, it's gonna end again, and they've been doing this over and over again. It's just that people had forgotten.
and this might sound very much like me being a guy, so I hazard actually saying this. But you were saying how Mother Earth goes through cycles, and I was like, yep, she must be a mother because she must be going through those womanly cycles
She did.
of these things.
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if she was going through menopause the way she acts.
I was thinking with menopause, I was going through that happy day of
Yeah.
every month of the year.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was it's like, do I really want to say that? But then again, it's like, kinda. But I don't want to be rude or I don't know, crass when I say that.
Well, the next topic that we were going to talk about, we were actually going to talk about mirroring, because a lot of things that we've been seeing was kind of a lot of activities of people getting into fights, yelling at people, blaming other people for problems. The swamp is definitely doing that.
They're and wide.
Yeah. So, they're doing a lot of mirroring, projection, they're blaming other people for the things that they're doing. What do you got on that, Amária?
On just people fighting in general,
Yeah,
people aren't
just,
feeling heard. Like, the reason that anybody would be upset with someone else not feeling heard or understood.
and when people are blaming other people for something that they're doing, like it's your fault, that you're the one that's doing this, you know?
That's when you want to ask them
Yeah.
questions like, well, what makes you feel like it's my fault? Tell me why you feel like that this is my fault. Let them fully be heard. Like, reiterate back to them if you need to, but you've got to listen to that person, totally spell out why they feel like you're the fault to whatever their problem is.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Wish we had Dr. Bloom on this with us. He loves talking about these topics too. But we have, a lot of
Right.
escalation lately out in the public streets, just serious amount of escalation. And my heart goes out to the family of the lady that got shot, or no, she got stabbed in the chest. I
Right.
don't know if you guys saw that. I think that was in Chicago, I believe. Is that correct? Do you guys know about that story?
No, I haven't heard about it. That's too bad.
Some guy stabbed a lady just in broad daylight, and it was a lady that was not far from the firehouse. I believe she worked for the firehouse. She went out on a lunch break, and so she was stabbed in the chest. So there's just increasing attacks. There's also videos of young teenagers or middle school. They're holding out guns and stuff and joking around it and all that. And I was in Chicago. So there's just an increase of these attitudes that are going around. And there's a lot of escalation. And I've noticed there's a lot more Karens out there than it has been lately. It's really a lot of escalation, and they are blaming people for just everyday things, just absolute everyday things. So we need to be mindful. And one of the things that even Dr. Bloomer said, scale back and, kind of you do your side and let them do theirs. It is best to find ways to de-escalate a situation rather than get too far involved in it, especially when the people are irritated and upset.
Always the best thing to do is de-escalate when possible.
Absolutely.
De-escalation is usually the best situation as long as you are if you are unable to make any productive conversation, de-escalation is usually your best bet so that you can go to a better situation afterwards.
Yeah, and sometimes you may not be able to de-escalate verbally, so just back away from the situation.
Yep.
Just say we don't see eye to eye on this, and just back away. And sometimes that's hard to do that, because they'll follow you and stuff. But there's been a lot of people. You have to kind of be patient with people because people are going through hard times right now. People have lost their jobs. I'm not saying it's an excuse, but people have lost their jobs. The prices are going up everywhere, and people are struggling. And all it just takes is just all these pile ups and layers and build ups, and it can make people snap. So one of the things is we have to try to be more loving and be more patient to each other.
Always.
That's my recommendation on how to handle it. And it's not easy. Not easy. I screw up on that once in a while too, especially when I'm wanting to be kind of hell bent to prove my side of how I see things.
Yep, I agree.
Amária, you're on mute.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, I think we've covered some pretty interesting topics this week for sure.
I think it's
Really,
really
again, out for anybody that's in Florida or, of course, in any of the other places that are being affected by severe weather. Our hearts go out to you. I really hope that everyone's going to be safe and all of that. So, yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming on tonight. This has been really cool. And I think, just really great things to remember, just to really listen to each other. And sometimes it's just having a greater understanding of why somebody wants to do something. Sometimes something that may seem totally drastic to us, it may be an outreach for someone, or it may be something that somebody truly wants to do. Maybe this person's really researched it, but ask questions, why do you feel this way? Go deeper, what is it that's driving you to feel a certain belief about something? I think the more that we can understand others and understand one another's and feel heard ourselves, the more that we're going to be able to find peace. And that's some of the big problems that we've had in our school systems and everything else, is that critical thinking has not been taught. We've been just continuing cycles of violence in and out of the home and just never resolving our trauma ourselves. And so, as we've talked about many times, doing that shadow work and meditation work and everything else. What's that you're trying to say, Alex?
that's the thing when it comes to social emotional learning, is that it teaches a child how to think and what to think, rather than dealing with these things with proper problem solving.
Yes, instead of thinking for them.
Very true.
So
Mhm.
I'm homeschooling my daughter, and so I want her to come up with answers herself. Just has moments where she says, "Well, Mom, what kind of answer should I put on there?" I said, "What do you think you should put on there? What do you think you should write about? What do you want to write about? You really think about what you want to do, what you want to say. You have that
Exactly.
absolute freedom to do it. There's just no really right answer at the end of a day, because both answers could be right. Then what do you do?
I guess it's that learning how to listen better. I'm trying to remember who said it, but I really like the saying, we have 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. So we need to be doing twice as much looking and listening as we should be chiming in and talking. Always a good reminder for myself. So I guess as a reminder for our close tonight, just really, what can you do to help your neighbor be heard? And in turn, hopefully they'll give you that same kindness. All of us being a compassionate witness and a greater understanding to each other. Thanks, guys, for coming. Sue, Alex,
Yeah.
thank you. Kamara Holistic Connections, Katie Kamara, we appreciate you and your work with us.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And we'll see everybody next week.
See you next
Bye.
week. Lots of love.